We, the Sisters of J.M.J. Convent, St. Thomas Mount, Chennai, joyfully invite you to journey with us in the spirit of St. Benedict of Nursia, a soul of deep prayer, humility, and peace. His life was a living hymn of balance, obedience, and love, ora et labora, prayer and work. In his footsteps, we are called to seek God in silence, serve with compassion, and build communities rooted in faith, discipline, and mutual respect. Saint Benedict of Nursia is revered as the father of Western monasticism. His life, recounted primarily by Pope Saint Gregory the Great in his dialogue, provides a narrative of a man who, in a time of social and moral decay, after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, sought a life of holiness and balance that profoundly shaped Europe. Born into a wealthy Roman noble family in Nursia, Italy, Benedict was sent to Rome for a liberal education. Appalled by the widespread corruption and dissolute lifestyle of his peers, he chose to abandon his studies and worldly pursuits around the age of 17. He sought a life of prayer and contemplation, first living near a community of ascetics at Enfides and then seeking greater solitude in a remote cave near Subiaco. For 3 years, he lived as a hermit, sustained by a monk named Romanus, who brought him food. During this period, Benedict battled severe spiritual and physical temptations, overcoming them through prayer and self-discipline, which forged his strong character. His reputation for holiness and wisdom spread, attracting a group of monks from a nearby monastery at Vikarov, who asked him to be their abbot. Benedict reluctantly agreed, but his strict adherence to a disciplined life proved too challenging for the lax community. In a treacherous act, the monks attempted to poison him. When he made the sign of the cross over the poisoned wine cup, it shattered and he returned to his cave. Disciples continued to flock to him, and he eventually organized them into 12 small monasteries in a Subiaco valley with 12 monks in each. Later, due to the envy of a local priest, Benedict departed with a small band of followers for Monte Cassino, a hill halfway between Rome and Naples. There, he destroyed a pagan temple dedicated to Apollo and built his most famous monastery, where he gathered all his monks into one community and composed his influential rule. Benedict spent the remainder of his life at Monte Cassino, guiding his monks, performing miracles, and evangelizing the local pagan population. His twin sister, Saint Scholastica, founded a nearby community of nuns, and they met once a year to discuss spiritual matters. Benedict died around 547 AD and was buried in the same tomb of his sister.
For communal monastic life, not originally intended to found a vast order, but for individual self-sufficient communities. Its core teachings revolve around balance, moderation, and community life, structured by the motto ora et labora, prayer and work. The 12 steps of humility, as outlined in St. Benedict's rule, are a spiritual path to overcome pride and grow in self-abasement and love for God. The steps move from external practices to internal, spiritual stages, beginning with fear of God and submission to authority, and progressing through actions like confessing sins and performing menial tasks and culminating in a perfect and loving practice of humility in all circumstances. The 12 steps of humility. Fear of God. Always keep the fear of God before your eyes. Subordination of self-will. Do not seek your own will or gratify your desires. Subordinate your will to God's will. Submission to superiors. Be obedient to those in authority over you, accepting their commands. Perseverance in hardship. Endure hardships, suffering, and contradictions with the patience and without complaint. Confession of sins. Make a humble and thorough confession of your sins and faults. Acceptance of the lowest tasks. Be content with and accept the most menial and difficult tasks without grumbling. Self-abasement and recognition of superiority. Regard yourself as less than everyone else and believe that others are superior. Strict observance of the rule. Strictly observe the rule of life relevant to your state, such as monastic or household rules. Practice of silence. Practice silence, only speaking when necessary. Restraint in speech and laughter. Speak little and with simplicity and seriousness, and refrain from ready laughter or frivolity. Dignity and seriousness in demeanor. Show restraint in your speech and manner, speaking gently, seriously, and modestly. Manifest humility in action. Demonstrate humility not only in heart but also in your external appearance and actions. Let us together embrace the wisdom of Saint Benedict, whose light continues to guide hearts towards holiness, simplicity, and divine communion. May his spirit inspire us to live each day with purpose, patience, and profound trust in God's providence.